Blog Talk Radio.
Hello out there, everybody. I am David Domzalski, founder of the Financial Bin and host of Financial Bin Radio. Before I introduce you to our guest, let me share some quick notes with you. First off, don't forget to pick up your copy of Entrepreneur Intervention, Triumphs and Failures of Entrepreneurs. You can do so for just 99 cents on Apple's iBookstore, on Kindle, Nook, and on Sony Reader, and it's soon to be available on Kobo and Copia. You can also get a paperback copy for just under $10, just $9.99 at Amazon and CreateSpace. All you got to do is go to financialbin.com and click on the book section at the very top, next to the login button for more information. Secondly, we are in the planning stages of our next book, Wealth Intervention, How to Grow and Keep Your Wealth. Wealth Intervention will detail how 20 rich men and women build, manage, and grow their wealth. We are currently looking for contributors for this book. We want people whose families were already wealthy and kind of learn how they got there. We also want people who started with nothing and built massive amounts of wealth, whether through entrepreneurship or another means. The idea of the book is to give people in Generation Y something to shoot for and give them concrete examples of people who have been there and done it. All you got to do, go to financialbin.com, click on Wealth, and you can find the article talking about it there. You can also email us at wealth@financialbin.com for more information or to contribute. Now let me introduce you to our guest. Her name is Pam Whitlock. Pam is the Vice President of Marketing for MoneyTrail, which is an Alpharetta, Georgia-based company dedicated to helping families manage their money more effectively. Now please join me in welcoming Pam to the program. And Pam, welcome to Financial Bin Radio.
Hi, David. Thanks for having me today.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Now let me get right to it. The first question I have for you, Pam, is can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Absolutely. I am from North Carolina and moved to Atlanta, Georgia about 16 years ago. I started out my career as an elementary school teacher and a preschool special needs teacher. And then when we moved to Georgia, I became a director of an educational daycare. And my husband and I have 4 wonderful children, ages 18, 15, 11, and 8. So we stay pretty busy with the kids and with MoneyTrail.
Oh, well, I can imagine, which is a great way to, starting this business, I'm sure was a great way to keep a handle of all those, school fees or allowances or what have you. Now, for the listeners that may not know, Pam, can you explain what MoneyTrail is and how it came about?
Sure. Well, I tell you what, MoneyTrail is a website, and it's www.moneytrail.net, and you can access it from computers, tablets, cell phones, iTouches. Our 8-year-old even uses his Nintendo DSi to get into his account.
Oh, wow.
And what it does is it keeps track of the back and forth financial exchanges between parents and kids. It can be anything from allowance to cash, IOUs, gift cards, and it teaches kids and teens how to keep track of what they have or what they owe or what the parents owe them, and it helps them focus on making good financial decisions because then they always know what they have. And the way it got started, when our oldest daughter started into school, we started giving her an allowance. And what we found was we didn't often have the exact amount of cash to give her. And so we'd say, okay, well, we'll pay you next week. Well, then, 3 or 4 weeks would go by, and maybe she spent $1 here on a pack of gum or various things. And then before we realized it, we had absolutely no idea how much money she was supposed to have. She had no idea. And we would try writing it down on sticky notes or on the calendar, and we just did not have a consistent system. And then when we started doing the same thing with, child number 2 and child number 3 and child number 4, it was just a crazy way of trying to teach your kids how to handle their money. We realized we needed to be better role models for them on how you manage your money. So we came up with this idea, and my husband is a software developer, so he started tinkering around on this computer and coming up with ways of making it work. And about the time our youngest child went off to elementary school, we started working on MoneyTrail together, and that's kind of how we got to where we are today.
Well, Pam, kind of to build off that a little bit, can you tell us how exactly MoneyTrail works, and then maybe kind of go into why the focus on money management for teens and parents?
Okay. So how it works is a family goes to the website and they sign up for an account, and like I said, it's free. It's a virtual bank, which means we do not connect with your banks or your credit cards. We're just a record-keeping type service. And a parent would put in, like our oldest child is Brittany, so we would put in Brittany's information and how much allowance she would get each week. And then it automatically keeps track of the allowance from week to week so you can see how much you owe. You can also go in and add specific deposits. So if you have a child that's washing a car or babysitting and they're earning extra money and you don't have the cash to pay them, you can put it in as a credit deposit for an IOU. If the child wants to use their money and buy something, the parent can either hand them the cash or pay for it themselves, and then they go in and add a purchase onto their account. So it's a way of keeping track of the money the kids have coming in and the purchases that they may make or what they're saving for. They can also add gift cards so you can see what the balance is on their gift cards. And it's just a simple matter of logging into their free account and looking at what each kid's balances are.
Pam, the way you describe it, it almost goes beyond just personal finance. I mean, it really sounds like it would really help kids give kids an idea of how to handle the monetary finances for a business.
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking at it in a nutshell, they're keeping track of their income and they're keeping track of their expenses. Right. And we, even with our older children, teenagers, they're wanting to buy the latest iPod or the iTouch, or they're saving for a school trip. They can set up a unique account and keep track of their savings for that particular item. Or in some situations, we will let them borrow the money from us, and then we keep track of them repaying us the loan. So they're getting experience with, okay, I've borrowed this much money, I need to pay it back before I can go on and do other things. So it keeps them accountable, and it keeps them focused on what they want to do, and it helps them prioritize what they think they need and what they actually would like to do in the future.
Well, yeah, that's great. I mean, because, you have college students who graduate who don't even understand the idea of paying back a loan or don't understand credit. So, I think what you guys are doing is really commendable, really introducing it at a young age so that they have an idea of what it is, at least when they get out there in the real world. This stuff isn't taught in high school a lot, and it's not taught in college. So I just think that's fantastic.
Well, thanks. I absolutely agree. You can't go from a piggy bank to a credit card. There's got to be a transition period there.
Sure.
And it's so easy, even for adults. You can start out the weekend with $20 cash in your pocket, and by the end of the weekend it may be gone, and you don't know what you've done with it. So if you can teach them these good financial habits when they're in their teens, then hopefully when they go off to college or get their first job and they're on their own, they have a sense of how you keep track of what you have and how you prioritize your decisions so that you're not impulsively buying everything that looks really cool in the store.
I got to say, I couldn't agree more. But to kind of transition a little bit, I want to kind of get into your role. Can you kind of explain what you do as VP of Marketing for MoneyTrail? We have some entrepreneurs listening sometimes too, so we try to cater to both sides here, personal finance and entrepreneurship. So, your role as VP of Marketing, and then how do you get the MoneyTrail name out there?
Okay. Well, personal finance and entrepreneurship go hand in hand because, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you've got to have a good handle on finances or you'll find yourself in debt, within the blink of an eye. So one of the most important things about a small business, like you said, is getting your name out there. And part of that is not just the MoneyTrail tool itself, but creating a MoneyTrail brand. We want to be... We're heavily involved in financial literacy, and we want to help further that conversation in the community, not just the personal finance community, but families and schools and wherever we can do it. So part of what I do with marketing is I'm very, very involved in social media. I have over 1,000 followers on Twitter. And I have found that to be a tremendous source of meeting new people and starting conversations, and it's a very engaged community. So we have lots of great conversations. So Twitter has been a great way of getting the MoneyTrail brand out there. We're also active on Facebook and have lots of great conversations on there. And then I started a blog. It's at blog.moneytrail.net, and I started that. I think my first post went up in February or March of last year, and that has been very much a learning experience. And it took me about 6 months to kind of get my feet wet and really know what I'm doing. And probably about November, the blog really started taking off, and I started developing relationships with other bloggers, and that has been a wonderful avenue of sharing ideas and sharing my thoughts on things and bringing in other people to share their thoughts, and that's been a wonderful way of getting the MoneyTrail name and brand out to people who might not notice it. So for marketing, that's the main things I do, or the social media type things.
Yeah, no, I would have to agree. I mean, I know, at least from my experience too, Twitter has just been tremendous. It's so easy just to that's how we got together. I just hit you up on Twitter, right. And we, here we are having this interview now a couple of months later. It's just, it's a fantastic medium.
Absolutely, and it's interesting. I was one of those that didn't see the need for Twitter. I didn't understand it, and I went to a conference and went to a workshop on social media and Twitter, and I came home excited, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna try this for 1 week, and I was hooked within 2 days. It was just phenomenal, and it's personal connections. It's not, I don't get on there and say, oh, MoneyTrail's the greatest, try this. You get on there and you start conversations, and those personal connections are huge for marketing your brand. You just can't beat it.
Oh, absolutely. Now, Pam, what are the plans for MoneyTrail for this year and maybe the next year or two?
Well, our top priority is to keep improving the MoneyTrail system and to keep, introducing it to more and more families and growing our user base. Mm-hmm. We get emails quite often from users who have ideas for new features, things that we could incorporate, and so we're always working on making it the best possible product to meet the needs of the families that are out there now. We just a few months ago we added a feature where parents can add interest to the money their children have saved. So if you're wanting to encourage your children to save more, then you can offer to pay them, a certain percentage of interest that gets added at the end of each month. And that was a request from several of our users. So over the next few years, we're looking at just continuing to grow it. We want to add some resources for our families. We want to add some features and just see where this wonderful journey is going to take us.
Well, a wonderful trail, I guess, right?
Exactly.
Well, that's what's great though about the social media age and the internet age, because you can get real-time feedback from your customers, and you can implement those, especially since your husband has that computer programming background. You can implement those, almost overnight, which is that I think is just fantastic too. Yeah.
Now, it's one thing that I have learned over the past few years is what I think would be an easy fix and say, oh, honey, can you do this? Those are usually the most complicated ones. So I have learned not to promise things before I speak to him. That can cause some awkward dinner time conversations.
Well, yeah. I guess their business and their personal at that times too, right?
Right.
Yeah. So what can you touch on the press that MoneyTrail has received, and how has the market responded? I mean, user-wise, it sounds like it's been great so far.
It has. It's far exceeded our expectations. As far as press goes, we had in January of 2011, which was right at a year ago, we were picked as one of the Kim Commando cool websites of the day, and that was probably our first big exciting thing that we had happen. So we were on her website, got lots of users and feedback from that. And then in July of this year, we had an article written about us that was on the front page of the lifestyle section of the Atlanta Journal, and there's a link to that article on our homepage of MoneyTrail.net. And it was Gracie Staples, who's an Atlanta reporter, wrote about us and how we came up with MoneyTrail and what it does and how it can help families teach financial literacy and money management to their kids. And that was real exciting. You know, we had to buy lots of extra copies of the papers for grandparents and relatives and all that.
Sure.
But yeah, we get new families in every day, and it's exciting to see that there's that many people that are interested in teaching their kids about money and helping them learn how to manage it, and it's getting bigger and bigger every day. So it's very, very exciting and makes it very rewarding to do.
Pam, the Financial Bin focuses, as I told you, on personal finance and entrepreneurship. Our members, our focus is Generation Y. What are 2 or 3 tips you can kind of pass on financially that would help them out?
You know, it's interesting because our oldest child is 18 and she's going to go off to college this fall. And one of the things that is on my mind at the moment is all the credit card offers that are going to start coming her way. And so I think knowing how to use a credit card appropriately is by far one of the biggest things. You know, if you can prevent credit card debt, then you've given your child a heads up on being able to be a successful adult. So, you know, knowing what the terms of your credit card, what those terms are, what the percentage rate is, and then viewing a credit card as a tool, but not as a short-term loan. So only use it for things that you know you can afford. So, you know, definitely credit card knowledge, I think, is just huge. And the other thing is just an awareness of what your money situation is, what your income is, what your expenses are, knowing where your money goes. And what I think is real exciting now is there's so many tracking systems that are available that really there's no excuse for not knowing where your money's going. You know, there's Mint and there's, you know, all these quick and wonderful tools that people can use. You know, certainly MoneyTrail for before you leave home. And finding the right one that works for you, whether it works on your phone or a tablet or whatever, having that system available and knowing how to use it and being willing to use it, I think is extremely valuable for being successful financially.
Well, Pam, it's been a real pleasure having you on the program and some great advice. And I really enjoy listening to, you know, how you guys came about and, you know, how it's grown. And, you know, just to kind of wrap up here, how can listeners get in contact with you and how can they use MoneyTrail?
Well, I tell you what, you can find MoneyTrail, you know, at the website, MoneyTrail.net. And like I said, you can hit it from any computer, laptop, tablet, cell phone. It'll work on any of those. We've got a customized mobile site so that it formats correctly on different screen sizes. And the homepage has all the links for Twitter, for Facebook, for the blog, so you can, you know, definitely find us on there. There's a Contact Us page where you can find email addresses. And you know what? If anyone has any specific questions or wants to chat with me about anything, just shoot me an email. It's pam@moneytrail.net. And, you know, I'm usually in front of my computer all the time, so I'm pretty quick about answering things.
Well, Pam, I really want to thank you for your time. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you so much. It's been a great conversation. I've enjoyed it.
Well, you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care.
All right. Take care.
All right, everybody. That was Pam Whitlock, Vice President of Marketing for MoneyTrail. And remember, check her out, MoneyTrail.net. You can also follow them on Twitter @MoneyTrail. They also have another Twitter account that they're kind of phasing out. It's @MoneyTrailNet. So follow them on both and get the latest updates for MoneyTrail. Really a great tool. And you know, if you have kids out there, you really want to introduce them to this kind of stuff as early as possible. Because, you know, I actually have a neighbor who's doing it and his daughter's like 2 or 3. So, you know, you really got to get it in there because, I mean, look at our financial crisis. Look at where we are as a nation. Look at the student loan debt. You look how high that continues to increase. These are the things that you really need. You don't want your financial life to become grease. Okay, let's put it that way. So just really check them out, MoneyTrail.net. I want to thank you guys for coming on, for listening to the program today. Soon I think we're going to try to start taking calls, so keep that in the back of your mind so we can kind of get some of your questions answered and really make this more of an interactive program. I want to thank you for your time. My name is David Domzalski, and please remember to pick up your copy of Entrepreneur Intervention. There's really no reason not to. You have $1 to spare, right? It'll be one of the best investments you ever make. If you didn't get it for, the holidays wrapped up about a month ago, if you didn't get it for the holidays, it's really a good investment. Hey, Valentine's Day is coming up. Might be a good little gift for your sweetheart. So again, I want to thank you for your time, and we will be on Friday at 4:30 p.m. We will have Carrie Peters, who is the Vice President of Marketing for BigDoor.com, so the gamification website. So be sure to check us out then. I want to thank you for your time. I'm Dave Domzalski, signing out. This is Financial Bin Radio. Thank you for your time.